Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Chris Mitchell podcast. Looking forward to this evening. So let's go and introduce our guest. Ladies first, of course. Brittany, would you like to introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about yourself. Of course, give a little promotion of whatever you'd like.
Sure. Yeah. Hi, I'm Brittany. I host Politically Provoked with my friend Justin here. I'm not really sure exactly what else to say. We are banned from YouTube. We are on basically Odyssey, so you can find us on Odyssey, DLive, Trovo, Twitter. Where else are we not
Telegram.
Yeah, we have Telegram.
That's the most important one you need to advertise.
It really is.
I think that's where we all are at nowadays. So.
Yeah, I feel like Odyssey and Telegram. I feel like I won't lose those, so it's like those are the ones I want to direct people to because I think they're safe. But we have been growing our DLive a bit because Odyssey's pretty glitchy, so we're working on that as well now. We're just starting from scratch a little bit, but yeah, that's basically it.
Welcome to the show. Obviously, Justin, you don't need to promote where your show is at. But yeah, just introduce yourself. Obviously, your name's Justin. Just over to you. The dance floor is yours, sir.
Sure. Yeah, I'm Justin. I co-host with Brittany and Todd on Politically Provoked. I try to bring left-wing viewpoints, but I'm always fair when I moderate a debate, and I try not to let my biases get in the way. And everything Brittany said.
There you go. But let's give a boo to the left wing person in the house. let's get a big fat boo. You know I'm going to get a lot of stick for this, and I have a platform. It's the Chris Mitchell podcast. You know, it's not patriotic talk, so it's not. You know, we're not going to be as biased. I'll try not to be. But welcome to the show, Justin. It's a pleasure to have you here. Likewise to you as well, Brittany.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
All right, so before we go into the show, I'd just like to, a little icebreaker. Just for a little bit of fun. I'll do this to all my guests. So if there's any future guests watching, get thinking of your three names. So we'll start off. Again, we'll go with ladies first, if you don't mind, Brittany. If you could go on a session, whether it doesn't matter, like whether that's a drink, party, drugs, if you want to do that, or ice skating, meal, any night out of your choice. You don't even have to tell me what night out you'd pick, but name three people, dead or alive, any time in the world. Could be your family, could be a celebrity, anyone of your choice. Who would those three people be?
Three people. See, okay, so since I've been red-pilled, I don't know if they could possibly change, but I'm going to go with people from before my red pill, so maybe they'll get mad at this too. I'm going to go Jon Stewart. I'm a huge Jon Stewart fan. Love him. Another person would probably be oh my god. Maybe, I like comedians, maybe Jim Jeffries, and maybe Obama. Oh, sorry.
I'm
sorry.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Are you sure you've been red-pilled? Are you sure?
I have been red-pilled, but I still do like Obama. And he would be so disappointed in my red pill.
I'm sure he could talk you out of it.
I thought you might have said Nick Fuentes after you had him on the show, but
I do like Fuentes, but I don't think he would want to come out with me.
Nah, but no, you're a woman. You're a woman, so yeah.
Exactly.
No egos, man. No egos. So
no egos.
Justin, obviously, same question applies to you, bro.
Sure. Yeah, I'm gonna keep this political. So what I would do is I'd go out for maybe some whiskey and some cigars, lounge, get the alcohol flowing, so I can pick their brains a little bit. But I'm gonna go with Nelson Mandela, Albert Einstein, and FDR. Those are my three.
I like FDR.
Albert Einstein, yeah, that's an interesting one. Mm-hmm. I mean, like the three I'd pick. I mean, for the British viewers, I have announced it before. But you probably only heard of one of them. I'd pick a guy called Cole Pilkington. He's a bit of like a comedian, a bit of a funny idiot from Manchester, actually. I know you spoke about your family's from Manchester. He's from Manchester. Paul Gascoigne, I don't know if you heard of him. He's like an English football legend. And Tyson Fury, heavyweight champion of the world. Also pretty funny. But if I had a bit too much to drink, I'm sure that he'll be there to protect me. So that would be my three. But yeah, interesting choices, guys. So obviously we'll move on. Interesting story with Political Provoked, especially with you, Brittany, with your little journey there. And you need to work on our Justin here, mate. You need to.
No, I need him to stay the left-wing host. You know, we need the left-wing. I keep telling people, don't red pill Justin. I need him to remain left-wing host.
Okay. All right, just pretend you've not been red pilled just for the show's sake, but just do it off screen. But yeah, like let's talk about the journey from Political Provoked. Either one of you can start. Just tell us how it begun. Obviously, I think it was a very left-wing platform, channel at the very beginning. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, I think I can start. I mean, like Justin and I, we had a Facebook group. We all came from Facebook, and so we had a Facebook group that was mixed, and people would fight, and it was fun, and we'd all just kind of like everybody was invited. We wouldn't kick people out. When COVID happened and we were on the lockdowns, Justin was actually the one who started doing these like live shows. We had him once a week. He was the host. I kind of did all the planning for it. So I would set it up. I'd get people, I'd get the topics and all that stuff. And I wasn't even on the show for a while. Like I was just kind of like doing behind the scenes, sitting in chat and just planning everything. And so we had these once a week. People really enjoyed them. We had like six or seven guests on, or 8 guests, I don't know. Every week.
Was this from like all circles? Where they're nationalist or left
wing? No. See, like we could hardly find really like right wingers that we had like your like typical like the cliche type of right wingers that would come on that like I knew of. We didn't know about these far right circles at this time. Like we knew about the ones like the boomer right wingers or like stuff like that. I didn't know there was like this unfound like these really highly intelligent far right wingers that had such controversial views. When I would see people like that, I always thought they were Russian trolls. I was like, this person isn't real. They're a Russian troll. I was one of those. But so we started having those, and it started to blow up. We ended up having somebody that was in our group. He was very controversial to us. Like he would say a lot of controversial stuff. He'd get in trouble in our groups. It caused problems, troll people. And Justin and myself brought him on one time after he was causing all these problems. And we were basically interviewing him. And we found out he was really, really smart, knew a lot of stuff, and he was interesting. And so we started doing these like weekly shows with him where we would just kind of talk about something, have a topic. People started to want to debate him, and he was a really good debater. And it became to a point where like, so he would debate somebody and they would run off and we'd never hear from them again because he was really, really good. And we were struggling to find left wingers to debate him at this point. He was like, do you want to talk about like before we get into when like because Justin exited for a while because of this guy, and he came back. I don't know if you want to go into that.
Oh, interesting. So you were one of the people that ran away.
So why don't you tell what happened there?
So yeah, there was just so some of my friends were kind of chiming in my ear a little bit, and I was getting frustrated. And there's one specific debate where we had a big disagreement on the topic. It started with the topic, and then some of the things that happened during that debate. I was going through a lot of stuff actually in my personal life at the time. And I just decided to step away. And then we kind of reconnected sometime later that year, over the summer.
Yeah. So he took a hiatus. We kind of continued on, and I was thrown into the hosting role, which I was not really comfortable with. So myself and Todd, who's not here yet, but we kind of kept the show going. And it was a little tricky at first. We had a lot of road bumps. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to do this because it was just, I don't know, it was a little hard for me to be the host. I never wanted to be the host. But I did it. And we started putting out, I put out a tweet saying, if there's any left-wing debaters that want to do a live debate, hit me up because we have a right winger that keeps crushing lefties every time they get in the ring with them. And frankly, it's a little annoying. And so it got a lot of traction one time when I got ratioed by some like commies, and people started suggesting Destiny. People started suggesting some of these people.
Oh yeah.
And I'd never heard of Destiny. I didn't know about I never really spent time on YouTube or any of these online communities and stuff. So I didn't know who he was, but we decided we're gonna bring this guy on to debate. We'll just call him Andrew. But we had like 100 subscribers on YouTube at the time. This like I think it was like after January 6th is when Facebook like shut down for a few weeks and we weren't able to live stream because that's where most of our stuff was, and we started kind of going onto YouTube a little bit more.
Yeah.
But that debate was like in March and it was big and we started getting a lot more traction.
Was that with Destiny?
Yeah, that was our first big debate. You know, 'cause most of it was like just like people in the groups and just like fun stuff that we were doing like for ourselves. For a while it was just in private in the groups. We didn't like publicize it. But we had Destiny on, and then all of his little simps, they wanted a piece, and so we started having a lot more. We got Vosh on, we got Mouth the Infidel on, we started getting a lot of big names that were coming and doing these debates. But he was really our only right winger. As this started to happen, more right wingers kind of like Groypers started to take notice, and they started coming into our communities.
You got Groips.
Yeah, we had a bunch of them coming into our communities. We had a Discord. Actually, we went through 5 Discords. They kept getting shut down because just like my Facebook groups, which we went through a bunch of those as well, I didn't like to have a lot of restrictions on it. I wanted a free space where people could talk about really whatever they wanted to talk about without having to walk on eggshells. And when you have both sides of the community in that becomes very difficult because you're going to get people reporting each other. You're going to get people.
Can I just interrupt a second?
Sure.
So did you get like a lot of grief from both sides? You know, like or any kind of death threats? Because I might get some. You know, there's a left wing guy here. Like only just tells it in the first 5 minutes of the show. You know, there might be 1 or 2. Not they wouldn't be death threats. They might say, "Oh, what are you platforming?" Like this guy, he has the opposite views to you, Chris. What are you doing? And do you know what I mean? But you've set up a platform here that is literally. Right, well, we'll just go with right and left. And some people might say there's no right. Some people on our side like nationalism. Not there's some things that we agree with on the left, you know, and maybe there's some on the left that I doubt it, but some people on the left might say. But did you get a lot of much abuse from both sides, or was it just particularly from the one side over the other?
I've always, for some reason, even when I had my Facebook group, even when I was like, because I was called the left-wing host, and then Todd, who's not here, he was the right-wing host, and that's how we kind of were doing it. And so I still get shit from the left-wingers. Oh, left-wing host, remember that? Like we dropped that a long time ago, that title, and I went from left-wing host to centrist host, just host. But yeah, I would get even from Andrew, who was the right-winger I'm talking about. He who has become a lot less radical to me in my eyes. Like he's kind of just like, I don't know.
He's less radical than you.
Maybe on certain issues. Yeah, probably on certain issues, on some of the racial issues. Yeah, I think I'm probably a little bit more radical than he is now. Yeah, but he people were saying how bad it is to platform this guy and how horrible he is and all this stuff, and I just kept going with it anyways. Like I wasn't listening to people, and we just kept going with the show and going for that. And I've always gotten shit from people like telling me to kick people out of the community, kick people out of here, kick people out of there. And if it wasn't for like, the TOS and stuff, like I would be fine with it. Like, so I have kind of given up on having a public Discord because they just keep getting shut down. We have our Telegram. I don't even like bother with that. We have a Gilded that I'm trying to kind of make into what we had our Discord as. But yeah, when you're gonna platform both sides like this, it's very, very difficult to do because each side is going to want to push out the other side, and each side is going to have complaints, and nobody's going to ever be happy, and it becomes tricky for sure to navigate. But and yeah, I guess like now there was a vacuum, and the right wingers did kind of start to take over a bit more and dominate the show.
Yeah. I want to bring Justin here in a minute, in a second, with this question, because like I have actually, like obviously, I'm on the right side, the actual right. We are right, by the way, we are right there. But no, on a serious note, I have tried to, I've hosted a couple of debates. So I'll get some left wingers just say, yeah, well, debate, and then they just won't turn up last minute. It was like, oh, look, we fall the Nazis, and or they'll come on and just, you know, say something stupid and just walk off, and they'll go on Twitter. I was like, look, I beat the Nazis, you know. So like, I found it very, very difficult. Like, by the way, if I hosted a debate, you know, I wouldn't get involved. I'd actually be very fair. I'd jump in at the right times and say, look, even if it was my own person, and say, look, come on, calm down, let him have his say, you know, and come back and forth. I like a fair debate. And I obviously, although I support my guy, but I want it to be a fair discussion. So I very struggle to get left-wing guys on the panel. Of course, so or if they're just going to take the mic. So, how is it as a left-wing person? Are you coping with the fact that you're platforming? Because I've always seen comments like, "Don't go on that show. Don't go on that show. He's far right. He's a Nazi. He's a racist. Never platform them. Never promote them. Maybe just clip out certain bits what they say and throw it out of context." So, how have you been coping with being left-wing and hosting these kind of debates? You know, with the people that you have.
So my stance is kind of, and it's always kind of been this, like I have some libertarian-ish beliefs as far as like free speech goes. I don't necessarily agree with what people are saying on the platform, but I don't think that I don't think that their right to say it should be suppressed, or that they shouldn't be able to come on and express those views. What I do think is important, and we always make sure that we have this, is that there's somebody to kind of be there to argue against them. I wouldn't be on it if there's not somebody to like kind of argue against that point. And that's how I kind of can justify to my mind. So at least, you know, and we have some really, like, even though a lot of left wingers aren't coming on the show anymore, we still have some brilliant left wing debaters that come on and they argue the viewpoint that I believe in from a very rhetorically effective place. And I think they do a good job. So most of the times when I watch the debates, I still feel like my side won. And even when they
didn't. Honestly, they didn't.
I admit it. Like when that does happen, I do. You know, I'll tell Brittany and Todd, I'll be like, "Oh, that was a bad debate." But you know, if somebody like Destiny comes on, I feel like most of the time he's going to win his debate. We have this guy Quibbles who comes on a lot, and I always feel like he wins his debate. So like, there's people that come on the show still that they do a really good job arguing the viewpoints that I believe in.
Fair comment, and to be fair, that's what kind of draw me. Like I have seen some of your debates. I'm not going to say I'm a big loyal fan of your show. You know, I'm not going to lie. No, but what I'll give you guys credit for is you do seem to be hosting these debates, and some people I've never heard of, and I think credit to you guys, to be fair, for getting these debates. And I've tried it, but obviously they won't touch me with a barge pole because they know my beliefs. So much credit for you guys hosting such debates. Was it going to go on to the next one? Yeah, go on, Brittany. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say thanks.
Okay, so has there been any threats, Brittany? Over to you. Has there been any, like, obviously coming over from the left to the right? And I've seen it a couple of times. Look, I'm not saying like I've never actually. I think I know two people that's gone from right to left. It's very rare. It seems like when you get red pilled, you kind of stay on this side. But I know two people that pretty much sold out anyway. Maybe there's a couple more. But did you or your family face any kind of threats? Did anyone get doxxed?
I got doxxed. Yeah, I got doxxed. And then my entire family got doxxed. So my dad, my mom, my uncle, my ex-husband, my his brother. They ended up having
all because of you hosting debates, really, and slightly obviously leaning over to the right side.
Yeah, I don't know if it was from the left or the right though. It could be either one.
No, it was definitely left. It would be our guys. It would be our guys.
Right. Well, there are some people on the right that are not happy with me as well. So.
All right. Interesting. Why is that?
Because the half Jewish thing.
Oh, okay. We will get into that. Actually, that's an interesting story. Actually, no, we'll get into that now. Actually, so you're half Jewish again. I'm going to get crucified here. I've got a left wing and a half J on the panel. It's not looking good, is it, for my reputation? Yeah, describe this. Obviously, obviously that's what you are ethnically or whatever, and. How have you been? In fact, I'm going to just go straight for it. How do you cope debating these streams? You know, I'm going to give a shout out to Brandon Martinez. You know, I've had him on a few times. Good lad. Get on with him. And I watched his debate. I can't. Was it Destiny on yours? Him and
Yeah,
Destiny?
he's debated on our show quite a few times, but yeah, Destiny
Yeah.
was the biggest one.
Yeah, and he mentioned he just rolled off like loads of Jewish names or loads of J's names. I'm trying to be careful because he's going to be put on YouTube. YouTube, I love you. Like, this is my 9th channel. Please keep me on for the 9th time. But no, seriously. So how do you cope when you're listening to someone that would speak about the Jays as much as he would and other debaters whilst you're hosting?
Yeah, no, it doesn't bother me at all, like, because I don't really identify myself that way. I've never really thought of myself. I mean, for the longest time I thought like just being Jewish was just a religion, so it was a choice, and I just wasn't religious, and so I've never really had any kind of connection to Judaism. So I've been able to detach myself from a lot of the things that people say about him, and for one thing, I'm always feeling like maybe I just have to prove myself a lot more than other people might because of that and because I'm a woman. So I'm always having to people are going to be hesitant of me in general for both reasons, the woman and the Jew thing. So yeah, I'm always kind of having to make the extra effort to ease people's fears that I'm not up to anything nefarious. I'm not trying to like do anything to screw anybody over. And when I'm having to do that, I think that's also triggered a lot of left-wingers who think like I'm just constantly like catering to the right or whatever. But it's just a different dynamic, and I'm having to deal with like people who are just very, very hesitant of me as it is. And so yeah, I do that. But as far as what people are saying and like about Jews and stuff, I don't really care. It doesn't bother me. We hosted a Holocaust debate. We plan on hosting actually another one with Eric Stryker and Enoch. We're going to be hosting that one, so that will be probably our biggest debate whenever it ends up happening. But yeah, it just doesn't bother me. I don't really believe in a lot of the GQ stuff, but some of the stuff that they've been saying, you know, when they it is interesting how they anytime we have somebody on and I'm hearing people in chat like, are they Jewish, it's like they're never wrong though. They always seem to be able to call it, and for being like 2% of the population, it seems to happen quite often, so that part's a little interesting to me. But as far as some of the conspiratorial stuff, I haven't gone down that road. I haven't gone down those rabbit holes quite much, and it doesn't really even matter to me the whys of things. Like I just kind of look at the problems that are happening, and I want some of those problems to be solved.
What do you think is the problems that's going on?
Well, my big red pill that pushed me from left to right was a lot of the racial issues. So we were kind of going into it a little bit before about little Timmy, and so basically I was red pilled by a groiper. And
by the way, like you know, I've done a lot. We've got our own UK groipers, by the way, which, you know, actually we have not done a lot in a while. I groiped, I don't know why, you probably won't know, I grew up Jeremy Coyle. And by the way, this is going to be on my second channel because I'm banned off the other channel for a week. But I've got 2 channels, both like around 500. I'll just switch between the two when I'm banned. But yeah, I'll subscribe to that one. I'll put that in the top, the pinned comment section after the show, guys. But yeah, so basically, we'll go to your grouping instead. So basically, over here, you know, fair play to Fuentes. I get loads. I like Fuentes, I support, but I still get loads of abuse for supporting him, and I probably will for saying it right now. But you also get some support. It's like, yeah, he's a good lad. But we basically use a target radio station because of COVID and we was locked down. We just, a team of us used to just ring radio stations, you know, that get hundreds of thousands of viewers, if not millions. We just we go on there. We pretend to be left wing. It's like, yeah, like we're oh man, I love multiculturalism. Oh, it's brilliant, and they put us straight through. Oh, brilliant! Get on. Well, you know, can you be ready in 30 seconds? Yeah, of course.
Oh, no.
You go on. It's like, yeah, I'm sick of multiculturalism, mate. Yeah, it's done X, Y, Z. Obviously, this show is not about myself. So just to give a brief introduction, we've done our own little grouping sessions over here. So back to you, Brittany. Tell us about your grouping red pill, please.
Yeah, so I was read pilled by a Grooybird, and basically Little Timmy was the story that kind of like resonated with me the most. And basically Little Timmy is this white kid in a class of like a future kid, as white people become a minority. And they're the only white kid in a class of all these different ethnicities. And after all the stuff that we were being taught, all the anti-white propaganda, all the, they're teaching about slavery, they're teaching about Jim Crow, they're teaching about all these horrible things that white people have done to oppress everybody else. And it's gotten so bad to the point that like even white people, like hate white people. So it's not going to be good for little Timmy in that scenario when he's the only one there and everybody else has been taught that this guy is the reason all their problems are happening. And so that, I don't know, that kind of resonated with me a bit. Like I've even like known white people are become a minority for a while, and it never bothered me before. And I don't know, I guess I had the white guilt. And as I started to realize, okay, if there's some kind of racial revenge that happens in the future, nobody's going to know who's the good white person, who's the bad white person. They're not going to ask for your 23andMe. They're going to see you from your skin, and that's it. And that kind of stuff worries me. And so that's kind of where my red pill started. And kind of I was expressing some of these views out loud, which was maybe my big mistake, as that's when the left just freaking seethed out and like they took my left-wing host title. And a lot of people started boycotting our show and called me a white nationalist and a Nazi and all these things. But that's basically who little Timmy is and my red pill.
Just goes to Justin here. Like you heard that little Timmy story, which absolutely spot on. What do you think of that?
So I personally, I just don't see a future where like I see where somebody would be worried about something like this happening, because this is what we currently see in America. Minorities are discriminated against. So I could see why, if white people become a minority, that you'd believe that there's going to be just some discrimination that's going to occur. I don't believe that it's going to be.
Can I just interrupt you? Discrimination is already occurring now against white people as the majority. So and and we've got the media. Sorry to interrupt you there, bro.
No, you're good. You're good.
But we're seeing right now discrimination against white people. We're seeing headlines: white people this, white people that. Racism this and Black Lives Matter. All that people are suffering. Right now as a minority. It's reality is white people are suffering as well. Like a lot more, in fact.
So
go back to you.
So I think that everybody, unless you're like part of a certain class, that everybody's kind of suffering right now, and we're all in this together. That's just kind of my stance on it. And like the whole Black Lives Matter movement, that's not saying that Black lives are more important than white lives or any other lives. It's just saying that if you're born Black in America, you're having to deal with certain systems of oppression. If you're dealing with the police, you're going to be treated differently because of your skin color. And it's just about bringing attention to that conversation. I don't think that the riots last summer did anything good, but I also understand why they happened. So I didn't agree with them, but I understand like why people would be so frustrated with the systems in America that they felt like the need to go out and riot.
But can I just ask you, like, obviously the George Floyd argument has been, but it's a good example to use, right? We've obviously seen the footage, like whether he killed him or whatever. Nothing racial said in that video. There was nothing like, obviously not going to say. Well, no, I'm not going to say. I'm definitely not going to say. But the N word and whatnot wasn't said. Nothing racial was said, and the whole world's just made up that he's a racist cop. And even though he's dating, he was dating like a Chinese woman, or I will just say Asian. I don't know if she was Chinese. I'm not trying to be racist here, but he was dating a non-white himself, so clearly proves that he has no problems with non-whites. But because he happened to kill this guy who's a non-white, it's a racist attack. Now in England, we have this Mason Greenwood who is just on tape recording, pretty much raping a white girl, and there's been no word. Oh, this is a racist attack. This is a racist attack. We have obviously hundreds of no, maybe millions now. I don't know the exact number, but hundreds of thousands anyway of white English girls being raped and ignored. A lot of them have been ignored by the system, by predominantly Pakistani gangs. I'm not even going to mention the religion. I'm not saying it's the religion fault, but when these white girls are being attacked, and raped children, by the way, you know, and you actually go out there and say, like, this is a problem, like, you know, that you're like a 4% of our country, and hundreds of thousands of the super majority white English children are being raped, and you talk about that, you get called a racist. Do you know what I mean? Do you not see the hypocrisy in this?
Yeah, I think that it's fair to talk about that, and without having to be worried about getting a label attached to you. I do think that it's fair to bring that up in conversation. I would hope that we can move the conversation to a place where we could be like, nobody should be getting raped.
Yeah.
There's,
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So I don't know. It seems like there's a lot of, and I don't know what the culprit is, but there's definitely a lot of racial division going on. It seemed like for a period of time, maybe like the late '90s into the early 2000s, like it seemed like that was kind of starting to go away, and now and I think Brittany said she thinks like social media is probably a big culprit of it. I tend to agree with that. We're seeing it kind of regress and go back.
Yeah.
And
Who runs it? Who runs
out,
it again, Brittany? Who runs the social media again?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but like, I think these problems are always going to occur. I think, you know, with no disrespect, and I'm not a white supremacist. I think it's because, you know, the elites anyway are trying to get the whole world and put them in one nation. Well, not one nation, but many nations. You know, different identities, different cultures, different personalities into one nation, trying to integrate to each other, and that's where a lot of differences lies. You know what I mean? I think if we were all in our own nations and continents, you know, it wouldn't be completely peaceful. We're still going to have rapists, murderers, and a lot of crime, but we can reduce that by a significant amount if everyone was back in their homeland.
I agree with that.
See, I feel like a lot of when you experience people that are different from you in your daily life, I feel like those intolerances tend to go away. So like I don't think you see as much racism in places like New York City and like big culturally diverse areas. When they first start to diversify and get, you know, multiculturalism, I think there is a little bit of like pushback. Fear, I think, is a big component of that. People are scared of, you know, people that are different than them coming in and changing their way of life, and that's, you know, that's natural to have fear of change. But I think over time, as like more generations come up with diversity, they're more likely to be tolerant of people that are different than them.
Okay, well, like, I'll give you a little brief intro who I am, my background. I'm from Birmingham, England. When, like, I was born in '89. I think the '91 census in England. I don't know what for Birmingham. We was obviously 95%. I think off the top of my head, I think it was 95%. The census now is going to be due out in the next this show. Can you hear me? No?
Yeah, now it's back.
Oh, sorry. I've got a dodgy wire there. Yeah, so obviously, like, it went from like 95%, and now we're at probably about 78%. But in my home city, it was looking at about 52-55% back in 2011. Obviously, we have had tons of immigration in the last decade. So we're short, and obviously with birth rates, our birth rates are significantly lower. And also this goes against our own people. Like, I know people say, oh, why didn't you white English people just have more babies? But it's not as simple as that, because our people are being indoctrinated. You have a lot of white English people hate themselves. Oh, we must bow down to anyone that's not white or English. We colonized the entire world. We was part of slavery. So they hate themselves, and a lot of it. And then you obviously get in the adverts and what they learn at college, university, to hate themselves, and obviously go with a non-white. So we're being breeded out of existence. So, and nationalists, you know, and then when a nationalist like myself would talk out and try and be reasonable and not show any hatred, because I love everyone in the world. I want everyone to have a peaceful life. Obviously, you know, with the exception of pedophiles and, you know, horrible people. I just think they should all be put in one land and rot there. But I think it's fair to have a genuine concern that my people are going to become a minority in my own homeland, and I am in my own city. Do you know what I mean? I've already left. I mean, I will be going back for work reasons, but I've already left because I just didn't feel safe in my area. Well, not safe. We've had a lot of terrorism over here and whatnot, and across Europe, a lot of grooming gangs. When I went to school, a lot of predominantly Pakistani men hanging out the gates, waiting for the schoolgirls to come out so they can poach them. And I know there's white paedophiles, and they should rot in hell as well. But these guys, they should be deported back home. And so yeah. Any comments on what I've just said? Sorry.
Me or Brittany? So my thoughts on that are even if you were to have an ethno state of some sort, there would still be problems. And we've seen that.
Oh, yeah,
like
yeah.
look at Ireland. The Catholics and the Protestants, they can't get along. They're all the same race. They're all Irish, and they've been going at war for decades. So I don't think that the solution is as simple as just let's have everybody be racially similar. I can kind of see some of the argument when people say they want to have a one be unified under like one culture, but not necessarily have like the idea like it's got to be behind race. Like if you wanted to say like we all want to unify behind like Christian traditions and beliefs, I can kind of understand that where they're coming from, because there's probably going to be less disagreement, and that might be more productive. And I'm the first person to admit that where we're at in America right now is not working, because we are so like our ideologies are so different. Like if you're on the left or right, there's no middle ground anymore. You're kind of you're infirm with what you believe, and there's nobody willing to give the wiggle room to accomplish anything. So I see some of the problems that I think it's the Groypers talk about. So I see like what they're talking about, and I don't know what the solution is to it. But I don't think that racial segregation would be the solution.
Well, I'll introduce your co-host. I just want to pick up on one point. It's also not about it. It's just fact is with birth rates and immigration. So if that continues, then you basically can't and it continues the rate it is, and it's been predicted 2066. It could be soon. It could be, but the fact is, if it continues, it's happening. If it does complete itself, you cannot call England when it's full of Muslims, or full of Asians, from another continent. You can't call it England. It's not an English country. I'm like I have my ethnicity. I have English in me. I have European in me. So that's what this country should remain the majority of. So if you're importing all these people and from another continent, and they're ethnically from another continent, and they outbreed you, then you can't call that country England. How can it be English when the ethnically English have just been completely, or not completely, but majority demographically replaced? So like I went to Malaysia. And imagine if I went to Malaysia and it's just full of people from Birmingham. Yeah, you can't call that, you can't call that place Malaysia, because it's just full of people from England that's just moved there and outbreeded them. Do you know what I mean? So that's my concern. It's just, this is my culture, this is my identity. If you in England, we shouldn't belong in anyone else's nation, and they shouldn't belong in our nation. I wish them peace and success, and if we can help them financially around the world, people might disagree with me on that. People might think, just fend for yourselves. But I'm trying to be peaceful. As the Dalai Lama said, I get referred to. I did make a joke, and it actually got reported in a newspaper that I'm a Nazi Buddhist, because I'm a Nazi Buddhist. I'm so peaceful, but yeah, I want an ethno state. So, as the Dalai Lama said, Europe for the Europeans. Do you want to make any comment on that before I introduce you, your another host there or not?
Sure. Yeah, I'll make it quick. So I just think that as technology keeps growing, I think that globalism is going to be inevitable anyways. And
America's inevitable, bitch.
I mean, hopefully not like in an imperialist way, but I think the world's getting smaller and smaller as technology gets improved. I don't know. Maybe we need to have these discussions more and figure out a solution that works for everybody. But I do think that it's somewhat inevitable that, I don't even necessarily think that like you're going to have residency in one country. You can just kind of move freely throughout the world. Maybe not for like another 200 years. But what was it, like 200 years ago? We didn't even have planes. So and now we're going into space. So it's just gonna keep growing. And
well, to be fair, like obviously I disagree, but let's introduce your let's introduce your other host there. Todd, welcome to the show. What are you doing, mate? 40 minutes late. You guys need to sack him or fine him. Come on, dock his wages. Welcome to the show.
Todd. But we are on American time.
Thank you very much. I am so sorry. I am never late. We pride ourselves on being on time, but the kids' bus didn't come. This has been a recurring theme all school year. So, yeah, I want to get rid of the Department of Education. So I do apologize. What's going on? Thanks for having us. And, yeah, get me caught up. What are we doing?
Right, okay. So obviously we just got into a little bit of debate, but friendly. It's nice and friendly so far. Anyway, but Todd, yeah, please tell us a little bit about yourself. What's your background? You know, like what's your ideology? You know, please say I'm not just. Please say it's not even worse than just a half Jew and a lefty on the show.
No.
No. I am vehemently opposed to both of their politics. It's funny. This is how we started.
I've got a mate. Todd, do you want to leave these? I'll pay you a higher wage, bro.
Listen. I've had many offers, but loyalty is very high on my scale, so I could never do that. HT is trying to steal me away too. But yeah, no. So I am a nationalist. I don't really know what I am. You know, I've never done a political compass, but I'm pretty far right. I want to end immigration, white immigration, but I don't care what color you are. I don't even want merit-based. I think we should raise American standards to where if we need a doctor, we have an American doctor. I know Justin was probably giving you the globalist spiel, and he's from an economic standpoint, he's right. We are going to be a global economy, but nah, man, I want America to be America and a big swinging dick of freedom throughout the world. But yeah, I'm pro-America. I mean, I'm not America first, but I am America first.
I almost liked you then. I almost liked you.
Yeah, not the Nick Fuentes America first, you know what I mean? But I am a nationalist. And why would I give you a cup of sugar if I need the cup of sugar, right? If my neighbor comes over and says, hey, can I borrow a couple eggs? Well, I'm not going to give you my last 3 eggs, right? Now, if I got 12 eggs, maybe I'll lend you 3. But if I don't get them back either, you know, you're not going to get the 3 eggs. So, yeah, I worry about my home first. And, I'm American, man. That's it.
Well
Florida,
said, man.
Florida man, Todd.
Justin, come on. Time to go, mate. Todd just smashed it.
He's working on it. They have both made this this turn on certain issues. Justin knows that the elites they're the ones who have us at his throat, but you know, he's still on the left some. Give him time. I was there too. I voted for Obama in 2008, so I was lost too. Yeah, I know, bro. I know.
I'm proud to say I'll say you.
Go ahead.
I'm proud to say I've always been a racist. Being from Birmingham, England, I'll tell you what, get on a flight to Birmingham, England. I'll take you out for a nice little curry, then a Chinese, then a Jamaican, then an English. Oh, wait, hang on a minute. There's no English places in Birmingham, in England. So,
hey, what's a Scouser? Where are the Scousers from?
Scousers in Liverpool, yeah. I'm a Brummie. What people call me would be a Brummie.
Okay. But yeah, so I'm an American supremacist. That's what I am, you know?
American supremacist.
Yeah, American supremacist. So don't really care about the racial thing. I am black, but I'm high yellow, so you know what I mean?
Oh, you're black? Yeah,
Yeah, I'm light skinned, so you know what I mean? But we still get along. But look at my politics are more conservative and more in line with yours than Justin's are. So I say, why don't me and you break bread? You know what I mean? So instead of just getting it on the racial thing. But again, I don't really care either. Hey, if you don't want to be around me, don't be around me. Freedom of association.
No comment. We'll move on swiftly.
It's like, don't be worse than the half Jew, the liberal. By the way, I'm black.
By the way, it gets worse.
Surprise!
Do you even put this show out? Hey, that far right Nazi's got a Jew on the stream. He's got a lefty on the stream. He's got a black on the stream.
Not what you thought.
Mate, you guys are associating with the Nazi here, so it's more bad on you guys. The ADL's coming for your asses, man.
Oh yeah, we're on the list for sure.
We are the top 10. The people we have platformed, and we have really taken a lot of heat from it. we are on the list. And Brittany doesn't believe
of
me, and
course,
maybe she does believe me now, but we've been on a list for at least the last 6 months. But anyway, so you're not our first, and I don't really care. I think the free speech and the battlefield of ideas has to be. I think my ideas are superior to yours, and I think we should be able to engage. But again, you and I align politically, right? So I don't really care if you're a National Socialist. Some things with National Socialism is pretty fucking cool and based, really. You know. So
no, you're right, man. You're right. I'm only joking. Obviously, I'm not.
Oh yeah,
I'm definitely not a racist. I love multiculturalism. It's fine. You're welcome here.
Of course, bro. You eat the bugs. You'll own nothing. The Great Reset.
Oh, your mic just sounded better for a second, Todd. I don't know what you just did, but it sounded better.
I don't know.
It went back quiet a little bit.
Yeah. Anyway.
He
found out I'm black, and he's lowering my mic. That's
happens every time.
Anyway, go ahead.
Todd, I've got a question for you. I've asked the other two, and you can take a couple of minutes if you need to. So I said to the guys earlier, if you could go for a session, whatever session that might be, you could be for a piss up, a nice few drinks, few glasses of wine, a few sangrias, or if you just want to go for a meal, a bit of ice skating or play American football and baseball, man, typical American stuff. Completely up to you. Any three people, dead or alive, celebrity, non-celebrity, completely up to you. Who would you go with?
Marcus Garvey, Michael Jordan. And the third, I would probably, so we got Garvey for politics. We got Michael Jordan for fucking the sports GOAT. And then, well, Garvey wasn't really political. Let me, I wouldn't do Trump. I would have done Trump in 2016, but nah, I'm not really, after lockdowns, I'm not a fan. And you said dead or alive, right? Obviously, Garvey's dead. Yeah. So, man, that's a good question. I like it.
It's a very good question.
Yeah,
nice little icebreaker.
Third. I don't want to commit to the
third. Do you want
a
bit of time? You can
I'll give you the third. Let me see. So we got Garvey, we got Jordan, and I would probably go with George Washington. Literally, because
I thought you might pick old Adolf, but
No. I think he was misunderstood, and we should talk about that. I literally brought up the 1933, how Judea waged war on economic war, and I brought that up on Twitch one day, and I got summarily kicked off Twitch, banned, you know what I mean? And it's like, dude, this is a historical fact. Now, it doesn't mean that they deserve the Holocaust either. That's not what I was saying. It's just, I'm just bringing up historical facts. But no, I wouldn't do old Adolf. I have read Mein Kampf when I was like an edgy, young person, but I don't have a copy anymore. And that'll definitely get you put on the list if you buy it. Yeah. But that would be my third.
Oh yeah. So you wouldn't recommend that book, that specific book? No names mentioned. You wouldn't recommend it?
Well, I would say Behold a Pale Horse, Bill Cooper's book. There's probably a top 10 of books that will get you put on the list. Anarchist Cookbook, obviously, that's been on. They burned that one back in the late 90s. So yeah, but yeah, I wouldn't buy my fuck. Anyway,
that's fair enough. All right, guys. All right, so we'll go with you, Todd, first. No, we'll go with you, Justin. As Todd was late. We'll go with you. So, in your opinion, obviously, it probably differed to my opinions. We'll obviously wait for Brittany to come back to ask for her. But what do you think needs to happen in America to improve for you anyway, and for your people?
Sure. Yeah, I think the biggest, I guess it's the two biggest issues that I'm always, they're both kind of based on equality, but I'm always kind of like harping on are wealth inequality and just equality in general for either races or LGBTQ. I think those are the two biggest issues that we face going into the 21st century. I'd like to see those addressed.
How do you mean, like in terms of what?
So I feel like there's just massive amounts of inequality within LGBTQ and races. And I think a large part of that is due to wealth inequality, but it still exists even without that. And I don't want to see anybody discriminated against regardless of their their sexual orientation or their race. I would like to see that just go away in general. I've heard a lot of people doing these debates say that they're starting to see racial discrimination against whites. I don't think that's any better than racial discrimination against any race. So I want to see that end for everybody. I think the bigger issue.
Can I ask you a question? Do you think there is discrimination against whites?
Some of the arguments that I've heard, I would say, yeah, it's starting to occur.
Do you think but do you not think that's more obvious and obviously more ignored by the social media? When do you ever see like a media outlet ever say this person was attacked for being white, even though there's literal crystal clear evidence, voice recordings or whatever, of it being racially, they've been racially attacked for being white? You must have seen this kind of evidence before.
So I think that anybody that's attacked based on how they look or their sexual orientation is cringe no matter what. We need to get away from that. I don't know. I don't necessarily have any like media outlets I can cite of a story, but I've like we had Martinez come on and he kind of went through some facts and figures and that made sense. And he was using he was going through like real news articles to bring these up. Yeah. So it's definitely occurring. And we can't just ignore it and say, oh, well, they deserve it because of the past. We need to figure out like, okay, before this becomes a trend and before this gets too bad, how can we end it? But we also need to be fair to the other races as well. Like it just needs to, especially because America's in a little bit different situation than England is. You said that they're starting to do a lot of immigration into England, but I feel like it's already too racially diverse to ever reverse it. So we need to figure out how we're going to peacefully coexist in this country and make sure that everybody has a fighting chance.
So you would put out the question, maybe, I mean, I wouldn't agree on this anyway, but so I say like one part of America being all black or one part being all white, you would literally say, no, that's no good.
I don't think that doing it based on racial lines makes a lot of sense, but I could see it happening based on political philosophy, because there is people of different races on both sides, and whether like how that shapes out, if it ends up like being more racially diverse on one side than the other, then that's how it shakes out. But I do think that if you have like certain ideologies and like where you'd like to see the country go, and like you believe that. Like I believe that there's no real solution politically, that we've gotten so far divided that it's not going to be solved. Then I don't see that, like I guess it's called balkanization. I don't see balkanization necessarily being a bad thing. If we'll just say conservatives and liberals for the sake of this argument, if conservatives and liberals can agree, like, hey, we're going to take this land, you guys take that land, and we'll just call it a day, then I wouldn't necessarily be opposed to that. I think that a lot more would get done that way than how we're currently going. Like we're 2 years into this presidency, nothing's gotten accomplished, and 4 years of Trump, nothing really got accomplished. 8 years of Obama, nothing really got accomplished, and we have like real problems, and we're going to see the rest of the world pass us by if we don't do something to solve it.
Just before I bring the other guys in, interesting about the LGBT stuff. I mean, like, I think it's being overly promoted too much, like drag queen story and things like that. Like, I think it's indoctrinating our children. I don't think they should be exposed to this kind of stuff. Like, oh, it's okay to have a king and a queen and a queen. I think they should just be left to be kids. And if naturally, I mean, I don't agree with it. I think they can be indoctrinated. Like, I'm very much a traditionalist. I don't believe in that, and I pretty much align with Islamic views on homosexuals, but I think it gets promoted too much, and I don't think it's helping our children. We're now like, we've seen stories where like 5-6 year olds have come home and said, "Oh, Mum, I want to wear a dress," and I don't think they'd be saying those kind of, maybe the odd one might, like if they're literally just gone from that age. Well, that's what I'm going to say anyway. But do you not think it's being over promoted too much? I mean, you say it's a concern, but like back 40, 30 years ago, like probably gay people was too scared to say they're gay. Now, like they're all proudly going out there. We have these gay pride marches. Birmingham, my home city, is one of the biggest in Europe. I don't know about the world, but maybe in the world. Massive events, and you got guys there next to nothing on, like leather, dressed as complete degenerates, bro. And there's kids running around. I don't think that's healthy for children. They should be out at the park, and they shouldn't be seeing or being exposed to this kind of stuff. Do you not agree?
I don't necessarily agree with that, but I do think that like age appropriateness should be discussed. And I go back and forth with this because I've talked to trans people before, and they said that like going through puberty was like really hard for them because they already knew like they wanted to that they weren't born the gender that they identify with, and that they were going to do the transition. So they would they had to kind of live their whole life living in a gender identity they didn't want to. But on the flip side of that, I do think that the conversation needs to be had where we talk about like what's an appropriate age, because I don't think that like children are already like kind of confused about like roles and everything as it is. So maybe we should talk about, maybe like 16, 17, 18 would be a more appropriate time to allow this to happen.
I will go to you guys about that LGBT question as well, but I want to ask you the same question I asked him originally. But in my opinion, I think we should get all these, these gay people and just throw them into one nation somewhere in the Middle East. Do you not think, Brittany? All right, we'll go to Todd. Same question I asked your man here. What do you think needs happening to improve America?
Yeah, we need a divorce. I'm surprised, Justin. Did you just admit that there's no political solution, bro?
I don't think there is, no.
Nice. So yeah, but I want to see a divorce, but along conservative and liberal lines. That's really. I don't think we can fix this. I think the shit is out of the horse. I really do. So I'm with you on the LGBT. Nah, not a fan. Nope, sorry. But that doesn't mean we should discriminate against them either. But you're right. Maybe we have been. I used to be a libertarian on this thing too. And I would say, hey, I don't care what people did in their bedroom. Well, you know what? That was like, 2012. Yeah, I was probably wrong on that one. So anyway, but yeah, I think we need a divorce to fix America. Nothing ever gets done. He's right. Justin is absolutely right. The two-party system allows it that nothing will ever get done. So, yeah.
Go on,
no, that's it. That's pretty much it. Yeah, I mean, just look at this last year. We found out that we're not streaming any. We can talk about the bug, right? We can talk about.
He's gonna put it
on the bug.
Okay,
it will be on YouTube. So I think
don't worry about it.
Oh yeah. But we all know. Well, I think we're all
know
what
I'm talking about. The thing we can't talk about, and so
just be careful.
It's absolutely crazy where we're at, and there's probably no political solution as long as there's a two-party system. So yeah, I would love to see the two-party system go. I am more closer to Republican, but I'm not a Republican. Fuck Republicans. Fuck Democrats. Fuck them both.
They're run by the same people.
Exactly. The global elite.
Justin, quick one. Are you with us on the whole bug situation, by the way?
I'm not sure.
Obviously, we're anti-bug. Well, I am. In terms of, with the anti-V, I don't know. I'm trying to use like a word.
I don't think I am. I'm not.
Have you had it? Have you had it?
Yeah.
Fair enough. I don't want to discuss that actually too much.
But I don't think that it should be required. I do for things that are going on in my personal life. I probably wouldn't have had it not been for certain circumstances going on.
Fair enough. Do you think it's a concern now with all the people like that's kind of like collapsed? I'm just that question alone, and we'll move on.
I don't. I kind of have like this distrust of the government. I was kind of telling you this earlier. Like I go back and forth. Like sometimes I'm like, people are too stupid to figure this out. Maybe we do need a government, but I'm kind of libertarianish in some of my beliefs. But I'm definitely like Todd just said. I definitely vote Democrat because I align with them more. I don't think that anything should ever be forced into someone's body. So if you,
it's up to you. That's it's your choice, isn't it? Okay, fair enough. Brittany, over to you. I'll start with the question I asked these two lads. what do you think, in your opinion, is happening to improve America?
I would probably agree with both Justin and Todd. I think we do need a divorce, but I also think that we need to fix the economic issues that we have. I think there's a lot of problems that are in this country that just can't be solved, and that's kind of like black-pilled me a bit. But I feel like, I don't know, I feel like the going like parting ways on racial lines and stuff is probably not realistic, but if you look at some of the polls, both sides seem to be almost like getting towards being in favor of partying along party lines, and that alone would kind of solve a lot of the racial issues as well. There would still be racial groups and stuff, but it wouldn't be at risk of becoming a minority, and that's more my concern, is I don't want to become a minority. But yeah, the economic issues are big as well, so we need to solve those problems. And the mass shootings. I want the mass shootings to stop. So
good comment. What about the old LGBT issue?
For me, I'm more like I think we should have never gotten rid of the don't ask, don't tell thing. I think I don't care what people do in their bedroom. I don't want to know about it. I don't even want to see straight people like with their PDA. I don't want to see what people do in their bedroom out in public. So do whatever you want to do. Don't let me see it though.
Fair comment. I mean, I disagree. I'll just make it illegal. I'll throw you in jail. So
based.
It is based. Yeah. Maybe not that bad, but I'd send them to another country. No comment on which country though.
You already told us which country.
I know. But all right. Let's go back to your show, guys. Let's go back to your show. Sure. Is there any plan going forward? Do you have any specific different kind of plan to what you've been doing already with your debates, or you just planning on staying the same? You're doing your debates. I see you do some open panels. Is there anything new coming, or are you just going to keep to the same? Any new ideas coming forward? Anyone can answer this.
Yeah, we're kind of just powering forward. We do our pop-on panels, which now we don't have to really worry about any kind of TOS. We don't have to really worry about TOS at all anymore now that we are off of YouTube. So that's been a little bit freeing in a way. I'm not sure where we're going to end up. We're just kind of like winging it a bit, but we're ticking through. Yeah, we'll have some big debates coming. We've got some stuff in the works. We're going to be off for like a week, but when we come back, we'll restart up all this fun stuff. But yeah, I mean, this has all been so organic for all of us in general. Like, we never planned for this. We never expected it to turn into what it was. It's just, we've been taking it as it comes, and whatever happens.
Yeah. Any comments from you guys on that?
No, I think she summed it up best. Yeah. Well, and it is refreshing not to have to worry about TOS. But then we have people who stream. So for me, if I start violating TOS, that's why I asked you. I'm like, oh, what can I do?
Yeah, well, so I don't really care, to be honest. But I'll try and stop it. But I'm banned off 8, 9 times. It'll go on my Odyssey channel. It might go on Telegram. If it gets banned, it's not the end of the world. I've been banned enough. But yeah, if we can prevent it, we can.
Absolutely. And I will always respect other people's platforms. What happens is sometimes I get loose at the mouth, not thinking, not knowing people are streaming. And sometimes I make comments that are, not appropriate. But yeah, anyway, I'm trying to work on that. For 2022, I've been a saint. I've done nothing wrong in 2022. 2021, well, yeah, there was a lot. But anyway, I think
he's made it a whole month, you guys.
I haven't been online.
Everybody around the months of being good.
Well done, Todd. Honestly, you're a legend. It's just a shame you missed 40 minutes of the show.
I know. I really am sorry about that. I figured by 4:15, and then the bus never came, and it's one of those things. It's happened a lot this year. They just blame the thing that we can't talk about.
Todd,
it's so funny.
Todd, you've let the national scene down, mate. Even the J and the left wing was on time. What are you doing?
I know, brother. I know, and it's normally I'm a stickler for that. We are always.
Yeah, he's always usually actually on time. It's very rare for him. I mean, he did say he was going to be late. I didn't know it would be this late, but he did tell me.
She said 5 minutes. I said, well, why 5 minutes? We waited 10.
See, what happened was Justin told me he's going to be 5 minutes late. I thought he said,
he said no more than 5 minutes, and then I thought Todd said the same thing, but he said more than 5 minutes. So I misread that.
Yeah.
But I thought he said no more as well, and I was wrong.
That's your ethnicity coming through, you know.
Sorry,
sorry, mate. Sorry,
It
mate.
always comes out.
You know
It
these
always
comments are
comes
going to
out.
happen, Brittany.
You know?
Sorry.
It always comes out. That's why she's so good at running the show, you know. So
Yeah.
But it's in her blood.
Would you guys ever consider, like, maybe going forward, depending on how big you get, would you ever consider maybe like some kind of IRL, like master debate show where you get like people there and you host it and then you bring on like 2 debaters going at it and you've got an audience there? I mean, I know it might be a bit unrealistic thinking about it, but would that be something that would interest you guys?
Yeah, Destiny suggested that to me a long time ago to do an IRL show. I don't know. It seems like a lot of planning and a lot of work to do.
A lot of security.
And it's like just what we do is so much planning and work and stuff. I'm not saying it's out of the question, but in the near future, probably not. But it could happen.
Fair comment. Okay. All right. So let's move on. Well, all right, so I'll go through 2. Yeah, the most memorable debate for the best and the worst. Yeah, so who wants to go first? The floor's one of yours. For the best and the worst, whatever you perceive that as.
God, Jesus Christ, that's a tricky one.
It is tricky, but without
we've had so many. We've done like 4 on our uploads. We've probably done like 500, 600 shows or something.
Well, you can pick several. You can pick several if you want, or just or maybe this one and that one. Well, you don't have to answer. You can say no comment. Don't treat me like a police officer.
I think one of the most annoying debates for me was the one that Demon Mama. It was Demon Mama and Andrew, and that one was just like because it was a transgender, like a hardcore trans, and somebody who's anti-trans, and that type of debate is this person would not fucking stop talking, and those are like extremely hard to moderate because how do you tell the trans to stop talking so the transphobe can tell you why you shouldn't exist? It's really hard to moderate something like that fairly, but it was just a very annoying debate in my opinion. I can't really tell you what my favorite debate was, though. I don't know.
I don't have a favorite, but one of the best conversations was early Wurzel, Root, and Finley. If you remember,
I love that one.
That was a great conversation. It was before. Well, I'm not gonna. It was a very long time ago, and I think the one person kind of went debate bro. But before he was debate bro, and it was a great conversation. So it's like picking a kid. How do you pick a favorite kid? I can't do that, but that was a great conversation.
Yeah.
And
I was thinking about that. I was thinking that one in the back of my head. Yeah, that was a good one. It was Wurzel's first debate with us. And it was a really good one. I really enjoyed both of them. You got to see a different side of them that we hadn't really seen, and I really enjoyed that one a lot.
Justin, any thoughts on any memorable debate? Whether it's just a memorable debate, it doesn't have to be the best or worst. Just something that sticks out in your mind, thinking, you know what, this was a fucking cracking show, man.
I like Haz's debates a lot. His are always like really entertaining to me. He's probably my favorite debater that comes on.
Just to discuss, I haven't seen it all. I did watch it, but was it a bit of a freak show? There was I seen like about a half hour of it. I fell asleep, and it was no fault of the debate. It was like 2:00. I got sent this. Obviously I'm 5-6 hours ahead of you guys, so I just fell asleep. It was nothing to do with the debaters. Some of them are great, but it had like Nick Fuentes, Handsome Truth. Wurzel, Beardson, Dingo. Tell me, how did that go about? Was that just completely off the cuff? Was that just random? Was that just right?
So every Saturday night we do these pop-on drink and chat panels, and you just never know how they're going to kind of turn up. Like we send out invites, and people just can kind of come on when they want to come on, and we'll rotate people out. But that one, we had Wurzel, who was on and streaming to Cozy, and we had Rand and Dingo who were talking shit about Fuentes, who was watching it on Wurzel's stream and ended up coming on. And then once he was on, all these other people wanted to come on. It became to the point where with StreamYard, you have a limit of how many people, it's 10 people or something at the most. And so people were trying to enter the room because the link was out, and it was full. And then I would like swap somebody out, and then like people, you just kept seeing people trying to enter the room, and I didn't know who they were, but it was a chaotic, crazy night. But that might have been one of like, I've been wanting to get Fuentes on for a very long time, so I was really excited to have him on.
Yeah, same here. If you're somehow watching, Nick, come on.
Yeah, well, that was
hit me up.
A point of history of the Wignac Royper War. So we were a part of that, and it was very good. I don't stay on for them long because, you know, it's too many people for me. But, man, let me tell you, I was watching, and, yeah, that was a great pop-on. That's more of a pop-in. But, yeah, like I said, debate-wise, that was the Wurzel-Finley was probably the best discussion that both people had in a good faith manner. You know what I mean? Since we've had, and we had a lot of great discussions. Again, yeah. But, yeah.
I think like Eric Stryker was probably my favorite person I've ever interviewed, though.
Oh yeah, we'll go to that actually. Favorite person interviewed.
Yeah.
So Eric Stryker's yours. Do you guys agree, disagree? Do you got someone else in mind?
There hasn't been a whole
lot. Well, you know, I don't. Again, you can't have a favorite. The most fun I had was HT. When we had HT on, that was fun.
Answer
we were busting balls. We were having a good time. Yeah, that was my favorite interview probably. But again, how do you pick one? We've had so many.
There's so many.
There's so many.
Yeah.
I mean, the amount of stuff the amount of people we've had on, it's just been.
Todd, I'll tell you what. I'll give you an easy question. What's the best show you've ever been on?
Well, obviously, it's today with Chris Mitchell, right?
Well, you go.
Chris
Can we
Mitchell,
clip that, guys?
Clip it.
Clip it.
Send it.
Get it viral. Send it to Nick Fuentes.
Send it to the internet.
Send it to the internet.
Send it everywhere. But yeah, I'm only joking, of course. Justin, yeah, do you have a favorite person that you've interviewed?
Favorite person? Probably not really. I don't. There was one interview. I won't call them out by name, but Brittany and Tal will know what I'm talking about. Somebody that came on that we interviewed that just kind of went south, and so I have a least favorite. But as far as favorite, yeah, Jay Dyer. I wasn't gonna call him out, but
yeah,
he was just really
that was
rude.
my least favorite too.
Yeah, he was just really rude.
Yeah.
So
you have to send me that show. It sounds exciting. All right. So, what about anyone in the world? We'll go 2 questions with this one. Anyone in the world you can interview, each person. Yeah. So you've got a little time. Anyone in the world, non-political and political. So maybe like, for example, Nick Fuentes and Michael Jordan. That Todd will say. Do you know what I mean? But so just anyone. So you got 2 answers there. Anyone in the world, political and non-political. Whoever wants to go first, whoever's confident enough to say, yeah, I'd have these 2 people.
Yeah, mine would be probably Fuentes and Obama. Those were mine too.
It's such a diverse pick, isn't
I
it?
know.
Fuentes was really disappointed. But no, if you say Fuentes and Trump, he actually probably would email you after this show. It's a true story. Justin, Todd, over to you guys.
Sure. Mine would be probably Tom Brady. Would be somebody I'd love to interview.
American footballer, yeah. Am I right? Yeah. I'm a bit boomer in your sports, but yeah, isn't that the guy? Actually, I'm surprised you said him being lefty because isn't he the guy that's racist for winning so many trophies?
Oh, I don't know. He's just.
I'm sure I've heard that. Oh, that's if I know his name, it's because he's obviously like a white supremacist that wins too many trophies.
Well, I'd love to sit down and talk with him. The way he prepares his body, he played to 44 years old, which is like unheard of, and still playing at top level elite. Probably could have made the Super Bowl this year had it not been for injuries. I grew up worshiping the guy. He's like my childhood hero.
Oh, that's good.
And then for political, probably Elizabeth Warren. I think she's brilliant.
Who's that?
Elizabeth Warren.
Oh, right, yeah.
I liked when during the last primaries, like everything that she was kind of running on was like what really hit home with me. So I'd love to like pick her brain. I think she's great political figure. That'd be mine.
Fair comment, Todd.
Thomas Sowell and the basketball player who was a bust. He's doing huge numbers on YouTube now. I want to talk to him. What the fuck is his name? I can't believe it's escaping me. He was a number one. He came out of high school, and anyway, but he's doing political shit now, and he's just I would like to talk to him, but it'd be nice if I could remember his fucking name.
Did you not speak to Tom Seal when they went on? He went on your show.
No. The other Thomas Sowell.
Yeah. Sorry,
the original one, not the Australian one. I think they're spelled differently. One is S.
Yeah, one's with like an E, one's with an O.
Yeah. So that's the one I meant. No, he was an alright guy. I had no problem.
Oh right, yeah. Sorry, yeah. I know who you're on about.
Yeah. So this guy is a black economist, and he was a Marxist, and he ended up becoming a conservative. So I talked to him. I would interview. You're asking about people we can interview currently, and man, I'm gonna have to Google this dude. He was a basketball player, but he recently got political. And he's just making a lot of hot takes, and he talks about how in the black community there's this the go along, get along gang, and there's certain gatekeepers within the black community. I'll be right back. I have to Google this. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, no worries.
Because I'd like to at least say his name because you never know, he could be listening, and I'd hate to. I can't believe I'm having a brain fart like this.
No worries, Todd. No worries.
I normally pride myself on being good. I'll be right back.
No worries. I'll bring Todd back in, obviously, when he's ready to answer that question there. I did get this question asked me earlier, and I haven't really been keeping up to date with it, and you guys can say no comment if you want. I have seen bits and pieces, but I told a friend earlier, he's in Britain, but he knows what's going on in America such, and it's a bit of, I suppose it's a bit of drama. But he wanted me to ask you, Brittany, and Justin, you can answer as well. Todd, you can answer as well. But what's your thoughts on the Ethan Ralph saga that's currently going on over the last few days? Have you got any comments on that?
Are you talking about when the debate he just got into?
Yeah, he had a little debate, and he's made some tweets. I haven't been focusing on it, but I know the guy I spoke to today said, "Oh, can you get her thoughts on this?" And all of you.
Yeah, it's funny. On Saturday, that debate almost happened on our show with Ethan Ralph and Medicare. Like they were all trying to get it on our show, but it didn't end up happening. But I kind of don't know if I want to really comment on some of that stuff. I know that with some of the stuff that's been going on with Ethan and I think with Worski and stuff, I think they both have just gone pretty low with each other and have I don't know. I think that I don't really know Worski. I know Ethan a little bit, but I think that they've just both gone pretty freaking low at each other, and I don't think either should walk out feeling good about it. But I don't know what else. I'm not thrilled that he got beat up. Also, that was crazy. But yeah, I haven't been following it quite closely myself.
Yeah, I've not I've been sent links. So I watched a few things, but
Yeah, I doubt Justin.
I have not seen one thing. Yeah, I've not seen one thing on the Ethan Ralph thing. I know people were trying to get it to happen on our show. We would have gladly facilitated, but I don't spend much time online for 2022. I just said I'm going to take a little break and do some IRL stuff. Take those couple hours a day online and do real stuff. So anyway, but I have no idea.
Justin, you can say no comment, mate, if you want.
Honestly, I don't know what's going on with Ethan Ralph. And,
okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Another question. I'll stay with the same guy. And said, what do you guys make? Which we briefly just spoke about actually, but I'll just ask this. What do you make of the Groiper versus Wignat war? Is there any comments on that? I know we briefly just touched on it, but not such that question.
Yeah, I have some comments on it. I don't like that there's a Groiper versus Wignat wars. I think that if white people are going to try to do anything, that they need all the allies that they can have, and for two sides that literally are fighting basically the same they have the same end goals in mind to be splintered like this, I think it's really counterproductive. I find myself a little bit in the middle. There's things about the Groipers that I don't like. A lot of the anti-women and stuff is mostly it. And I'm not into the religious stuff. But the Wignats, I do think, need to be a little bit more optic focused. I don't like how they, brush that stuff up. So I think if you put those two sides together, that they could do something really well, and they are too busy fighting each other, and it's not going to help anybody. So those are my thoughts on that.
Yeah, to be fair,
I love it.
What do you mean you love it?
I love it, dude. I fucking love it, dude. It's entertaining. It was great. What do you mean?
Yeah, probably for entertainment, but
it's white on
we're
white crime. Dude, are you
them
trying to allege that I would be rooting on white crime? Of course not, bro. But I love it. And I don't know why I love it, but I just love it.
Yeah, it's because you're not white, that's why. That's why you're loving it.
Possibly.
Justin, I know I'll probably, but in fact, you'll probably love it. Yes, bring on the infighting. The left are going to take over the world.
Well,
hopefully not. But
so on the left, we do this to each other all the time. We're constantly at war with each other over ideas and like what policies we should be pushing. So to see it happening on the right, I kind of appreciate it.
Yeah,
I will
say
it's
not the same, Justin.
It's not the same. No, it's not the same.
No,
it's not
the
the
right
same.
on right crime is always life, like you said, like she just said, with whatever's going on between Worski and Ralph. It's brutal. You know what I mean? Look at the right on right crime we had from our former person. So it's always the left never cannibalizes like the right does. I'm sorry.
I don't know about
that. I mean, like in the UK, you have like obviously, as I said earlier, I agree with Islam on a few issues, but you'll get the demonstrations. Oh, Islam stands with LGBT. It's like, really? Do you? Have you ever been to an Islamic country? You certainly do not stand with LGBT, but they will stand together in European nations.
And let me just explain it, because what I'm saying. What I mean is, like, during the 2020 election, we had Liz Cheney come out and do something against Trump, but nobody on the Democratic side did anything against Biden. So that's what I mean. True. Of course, that is true. Name one Democrat that ran anything counter to Biden during 2020. I'll even give you time. You can come back and you can answer me later.
There you go.
I'll let you research it.
Your mic is very quiet, though, too.
Yeah, it's a bit quiet. But Brittany, you're up for hosting the debate, Brittany. Me and you are going to be co-hosts. We're going to be the new political provoked here, hosting the debate.
We should debate it. Justin wants to debate. We could.
Go on, Justin.
But a discussion.
Go on, Justin. Give him.
No, I mean,
but not today.
If we're talking about like 2020 primary, like, yeah, everybody ended up falling in line behind Biden, but there's certainly leftists that did not like. I'm not talking about the actual people running. I'm talking about within the left itself. There's a lot of diversity of different ideas.
Absolutely. Like I agree with that.
Bernie Sanders is completely different than Joe Biden. Joe Biden to somebody like me is far, like, I wouldn't say he's far right, but he's right. Like he's not even center. He's right. So yes, I agree with you that nobody like came out against Biden. We ended up all falling in line and voting for him, but there was certainly a lot of inner debate within the left that didn't necessarily want Biden. We just kind of took him as, hey, he's what we need to win this election.
Just basically someone that isn't Trump.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. So he has some appeal to some people on the right, like like Brittany said earlier, the boomer conservatives. I think some of them were kind of tired of Trump's politics, and Joe Biden kind of appealed to them. Well, sorry.
Yeah,
and I think that's what ended up winning us that election. I mean, it would have been close had it not been for that.
I'll wait for her to come back to us this.
But really quick though, back to the Groyper Wignat thing. I do think that, and I don't know if I'm going to heat for this. I do think the Groypers are better with their messaging. They're better at organizing. I think that they have potential to actually. I don't know like what they're trying to do, if they're trying to infiltrate the Republican Party and take it over as their own. I don't know what the end goal is there, but they come on. They're always like dressed nice. They speak well. They're very good with their optics. I think that they're getting further than the Wignats. Somebody like I'm a normie. I guess that's what people like that are red pilled would call me as a normie.
Yeah.
Somebody that's like a normie, I can sit there and I can listen to a Groyper and I can understand their talking points. Versus like a Wignat, I'm like, this is incredibly cringe. They're like, we'll never agree.
He's I don't know what like American conferences like in any circles. Like I've seen like Nick Fuentes has sold out like 1,000 people, like 1,000 tickets for his next conference, AFPAC, I think it's called. Is that like a real good figure in American politics terms, in terms of conferences?
It's doing really good. I mean, 1,000. I don't know. I'm not sure, but like he's got something that seems sustainable and some like a movement that's really it's going somewhere for sure. So,
but do you think is it just attract? I mean, I don't know. I'm not on the streets of America with them or anything. Is it just mainly attracting just the Zoomers, or is it attracting an audience?
Yeah, he's mostly
what about the
Zoomer audience.
It's mainly them, but what
well, that's
about,
a whole new generation of people, though. That's like
that's
the
true,
young
that's true.
generation.
Is he attract? What is he? Does he attract many females? I don't watch his.
No, because they're not allowed. He probably could. He probably
Based.
could.
Based.
But, yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I think he's cutting off like a huge faction of people that he might be able to attract by this. Like, no, I mean, that's another. Yeah, I'm not thrilled with the whole incel thing. Like that, they just all feel like that they have to hate women. But if you broke them up like individually, I don't think that they really believe some of those things. But when they are all together, it's kind of like a fraternity, and they all kind of feed off of each other. So I think that kind of emboldens it a bit.
A lot of people I've seen will criticize him. In your opinion, I mean, you don't have to give it. Do you think he's he swings for the other side? Like, do you think he's gay, basically?
No, I don't think he's gay. I think I don't know, maybe he's asexual or something. Like, I'm hoping he gets married and has can be setting an example for like the people that follow him. But I don't know. He said maybe he will, maybe he won't. So who knows? He's young. He's really young. He's got time.
Yeah, and I showed Justin a video after I think it was the second Stop the Steal, and he was chanting "Destroy the GOP," and I showed Brittany too, and they said, "Well, that will only hurt you." I said, "Dude, I'm not part of the fucking GOP. I want it destroyed." So that was him that was actually chanting that, and of course they've gotten since 2020. They've gotten even bigger and more potent. So it's a force to be reckoned with. Wignet's not so much, bro. There's no unity. It's nothing but a bunch of fighting. So, yeah. No.
Fair comment. I wanted to ask one quick question. This was not on my plan list or anything, but because there's a different, everyone's different on this panel actually, and you're all in America. Do you believe there was election fraud?
No, I don't.
Brittany?
Oh yeah, definitely. I just sent him an article that the Wisconsin drop boxes were illegal. Didn't I just send that to you, Dustin? I might not have, but yeah. So yeah, absolutely. Now, was there a stolen election? No, they used the executive to steal it. They subverted the legislature to make, extending voting laws for 7 days after the election. They made it voting week, not election day. So, but yeah, we can have that conversation too, Justin. But again, yeah, I definitely think there was fraud.
Oh, happily host this debate between you two.
I would be on Justin's side on this one, actually. Though I don't think there was fraud. I think that we were in like crazy circumstances where we had COVID and that was happening, and yeah, they made different regulations for our election that like were unseen, and then once the election happened, they tried to use that against it. But like I feel like if somebody's vote, no matter like if they did it through mail or no matter if like they had an extended period of time, that's still their vote and that should count. So if they want to go and make sure that that person actually voted, that's fine. And I think they should do that in every state. But if an American citizen actually voted, then I don't feel that's election fraud. I feel like election fraud would be if these are like fake people voting or those aren't real ballots or things like that. That would be, in my eyes, election fraud.
I mean,
that's
I don't
why
know.
we have election day, not election week. But yeah, I can do a 2v1 on that. Chris, you host it. You hook them. I'll clean them and fry them. It's easy, bro.
Anyway. And I just want to add one other thing to what Bernie said is this is the most audited and supervised election ever. So they've done audit after audit after audit, and they actually found in the Georgia audit that Biden actually got more votes, and Trump had more fake votes. So it's just like, I don't know how much more we can do. I think that there's going to be another audit in Georgia actually. So it's just like, when does it end? Like, we have to accept it and move on.
Oh, we've all moved on, but listen, how can you wait? I want you to explain how the executive can make election rules when that's up to the legislative, and you can maybe explain that to me. That's what I'm alleging. But again, I'm not alleging that there was some fake fucking Russian or Chinese ballots or anything like that. No QAnon shit. Just real things that courts have sided with me. So anyway, we can have that later. I don't want to argue about it, but it's an easy win, easy dub.
I love it. I love the confidence, mate. But yeah. That's completely. It'd be a good debate to listen to you two actually. All right, let's move on. So we'll end it very shortly. I just want to get your opinions on a couple of more things. what's your position on with what's going on at the moment in Canada? Trudeau, if that's how you pronounce it. Sorry if I didn't, for any Canadian followers or you guys. I see, like, I don't know everything about it, but they seem to be slandering the truckers with this convoy stuff as far right. I don't know as much as you guys probably do. Can anyone give me some feedback on what's going on there in Canada?
Yeah, I haven't been following it much. I heard little bits about it, how they are blocking access or something, and I know that a lot of the right has been cheering them on, but I haven't been following. I just saw little posts about it from people.
Yeah, I saw that GoFundMe was trying to steal their $10 million. That's what I saw.
Yeah, I did hear about that as well. Yeah, but GoFundMe always do this. They always like trying to stop, especially us on the right. But go on, Justin.
In some ways, I kind of like. I don't think so. If the trucking industry stops in any country, the economy collapses, right? So they recognize their power in doing that. I don't necessarily agree with why they're doing it, but I always support people collectivizing for a cause and protesting to implement change.
Fair enough. Last question before we get some final thoughts. Bring it back home. Bring it back to my nation. Are you guys any aware of anything in British politics with Boris Johnson, the Conservative Party, and what's going on? We have, like, obviously the Dover issue. But we'll leave it to you guys. Are you aware of anything that's going on in Britain right now, or paying any attention to what's going on?
Right.
No.
I mean,
I thought you wouldn't. But
who pays attention to that? We barely pay attention to our own country.
Yeah.
Of course. And Israel, of course.
I have a question for you, Chris. How do you feel? So I'm sure you were probably in favor of Brexit. What's that like now?
Brexit's a tough one because, like, Brexit's a tough one because, like, it's still, we're still importing migrants from, like, in fact, they've got the excuse now saying, like, oh, we're not going to import people from Poland or any other European nation. We'll just do it from Africa and other nations. I don't want any immigration. I believe I'm England first, a little bit similar to Fuentes, but I'm ethnically English, whereas Americans, they're not really ethnically American because, they're more like Americans are, well, white Americans are from European descent. I am actually English, so I believe that this country should be super majority ethnically English. And Brexit, it's I agree with a bit of it, but it's always bullshit. Conservative Labour, same as America, always a two-party system and always fucking over pretty much the working class. I'm working class. We're getting messed over. Even the black or Muslim working class, they're getting messed over, of course. We're at the bottom of the pile. The white English working class are at the bottom of the pile, and that's what I disagree with. I disagree with immigration. I don't want Polish here. I don't want Italian, Spanish here. And if I had to pick, obviously I would choose Europeans over, like, Africans, Asians, etc. But that's no disrespect. It doesn't mean I wish them any harm. I just, as I said at the start of the show, like, I'm a follower of the Dalai Lama, and he once said, Europe, for the Europeans, maybe they should come here and learn stuff, then return home to teach their fellow people stuff they learn from our nation. So, that's my opinion.
All right. Cool.
I'd rather not even have them here, but yeah, I agree. Send them home.
Yeah. Thank you. But honestly, guys, it's been an absolute great show. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Let's go to some final thoughts. We'll go with ladies first, but again, many thanks. It's been in fact, I've never really done a show like this that I've had a half. We'll just say a half.
We brought all the diversity here. You're welcome.
Diversity is our strength, they say. I disagree. This show has been an absolute disaster. This show proves that diversity does not happen. No, honestly, been fantastic having you guys. Great banter, great laughs, and I hope you guys have enjoyed my company as well. Brittany, ladies first. Please give your final thoughts. Anything you want to plug. The dance floor is yours.
No, thank you so much for having us. Yeah, I did really enjoy it. You'll have to give me your links and stuff to your stuff. We should have you on our show as well sometime if you're ever interested. Yeah, we are on Odyssey, D Live, Trovo, Politically Provoked. I think you can search it on anything, and we are there. Twitter, except for YouTube. But yeah, again, thank you for having us. It's been a lot of fun.
Thank you, Brittany. Todd, over to you.
Yeah, I just want to thank you as well. Our door is always open if you want to come over and hang with us. I don't really. I'm a man of few words. I don't say much. I just exude confidence and big dick American energy, brother. Anyway, thank you for having us.
You're a funny lad, you are. For a non-voice, yeah,
I try. We do have comedy. Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy, Chris Rock, Dave Chappelle. We kind of own comedy. I mean, if you wanted to go 1-to-1,
actually, Jews and blacks do kind of own comedy.
No, mate, no.
They do. I mean,
no. English, I'll give you some English comedy. Yeah, and in fact, you can't get our comedy. We're that funny. You probably don't get it. So,
well, Brits are like funny, like just by their accents. I feel like you could be like,
this is typical J talk now. Oh, mate, shut it down.
Quick convention.
Yeah. No, thank you. But no, actually, let's have a little. I think we should have a little comedy show at one point. Maybe we'll show a bit of our comedy, show a bit of your comedy, and we'll let the audience decide. Maybe that's something we can do in the future. But yeah, thank you, Todd. Thank you again, Brittany. Justin, we'll save the worst till last.
Chris, thanks for having us on. Everything Brittany said, find us on all the platforms. I really enjoyed doing this. Chris, thank you for showing some restraint and being polite to me, even though I'm completely on the opposite side of the spectrum. So thanks for having us on.
All right, thank you. And yeah, I've got more shows planned, guys. This is a pre-record. Please leave your feedback in the comment section. And yeah, please subscribe to these guys' channels. They're wicked companies, to be fair, even though they're opposites. But yeah, enjoy yourself, guys. We'll see you soon. Peace out.